Could we see John Cena retain? Yes, Cena could just retain by doing all the same time possible. And Cody Rhodes not turning heel, not doing anything dastardly. But we can't really have that, can we? Because we saw that at WrestleMania 41. And that match was just kind of, Cody played it straight, Cena was slow, methodical, and a little bit too stupid, slow walk, and then slap Cody. So Cena could win just clean cut, and that's it. And Cody is left sitting there like he has done at the end of 2 WrestleManias, where he's in shock and disbelief that he lost. That can motivate Cody to get more frustrated, that he didn't get the job done at SummerSlam, that he needs to do even more, that it's not working anymore to keep doing the exact same thing over and over again because he couldn't get it done with John Cena. That still gives time, by the way, for Cena to hold on to the belt, have a couple more feuds, and maybe have a 3rd match with Cody at Survivor Series and a big stadium show. The other option is there is a turn, a slight turn, because we saw this with John Cena where he was kind of turning. He didn't hit Punk with the belt. He threw it away. After several months, John Cena's character has adapted and he hasn't been as heelish. Whereas Cody in the SummerSlam match could crank it up a little bit, knowing that he's got to do more to Cena to get the belt back. Where he just hit nut shots, like 3 of them, and decimates Cena, making Cena looking vulnerable and giving him sympathy. They could do that, it'd be shocking, but I feel like they would do something a little bit slower and more methodical with Cody's turn. Speaking of turn, you could also do the double turn. Going into SummerSlam, we have several weeks of TV where these two are going to be talking back and forth and back and forth. And those promos cannot be what we saw leading up to WrestleMania 41, where it's just, I'm going to beat you. Cody got mad because Cena took him out of the Elimination Chamber, and then it took Cody a couple...
I emphasize again, it is free to join my community. The stocks I share are also free. The techniques and strategies I teach.
In 2019, The Athletic released an anonymous poll to current and former players of the game, asking them some questions. Most importantly, who they thought the NBA's GOAT was. At the time, 73% of the players said Michael Jordan, with LeBron James and Kobe Bryant battling it out with 10% and 11% to each. In 2024, they decided to run it back with this anonymous questionnaire. However, the second time, the results were shocking. Fast forward another championship and finals MVP, breaking the scoring record, and a bunch of longevity piling up in LeBron's favor, and the King is only trailing by less than 5% to Air Jordan, with Kobe still near 10%. For the first time in pretty much forever, Michael Jordan was not the majority pick for the GOAT anymore. Over the last decade or so, Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe have been pretty much cemented as the 3-headed GOAT in the eyes of NBA players and fans. But there's one issue. Kobe Bryant really shouldn't be in the GOAT debate, and this isn't even a hot take. Kobe Bryant's stats compared to Michael Jordan and LeBron James just aren't on the same level. Kobe Bryant is last in the 5 major stats of points, rebounds, assists.
Oh my God, what was this nigga saying? I'm
is by far the least efficient of these 3 players, shooting under 45%.
I'm not even trying to hate on this nigga, I'm just saying, like... That's true. This nigga talking about literally Kobe Bryant.
Each of the 3 basketball resumes, things get even worse for the Mamba. Kobe Bryant just has 1 and a bunch of longevity piling up in LeBron's favor, and the King is only trailing by less than 5% to Air Jordan, with Kobe still near 10%. For the first time in pretty much forever, Michael Jordan was not the majority pick for the GOAT anymore. Over the last decade or so, Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe have been pretty much cemented as the 3-headed GOAT in the eyes of NBA players and fans. But there's one issue. Kobe Bryant really shouldn't be in the GOAT debate, and this isn't even a hot take. Kobe Bryant's stats compared to Michael Jordan and LeBron James just aren't on the same level. Kobe Bryant is last in the 5 major stats of points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. The Black Mamba is also by far the least efficient of these 3 players, shooting under 45% for his career. Taking a look at each of the 3's basketball resumes, things get even worse for the Mamba. Kobe Bryant just has 1 MVP, 2 Finals MVPs, and less All-NBA and All-Star selections than LeBron James. While Kobe does have more rings than the King, 3 of them were at the hands of prime Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant player to ever lace up on a basketball floor. You can even make the argument that Kobe Bryant was never the best player in the league. The Mamba hit his prime in the 2000s, but honestly got outshined by Tim Duncan in this era, where the big fundamental had 3 titles, 2 MVPs, and 2 Finals MVPs in Kobe's era. Later on, LeBron James was taking all the MVPs that the Mamba was so eager to win in the late 2000s and early 2010s. The dominance you had in your era can't be put into question like this. If you want to be known as the greatest, it's time to expose everyone's favorite NBA legend. And we just took out the Black Mamba. And teammate, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq is seen by many, and myself, as the most dominant force the league has ever seen. During the late 90s and early 2000s, Shaquille O'Neal was the undisputed best player in the world, and arguably had the greatest peak of all time. Shaq was putting up video game-like numbers in the 2000, 2001, 2000, worried about the rim coming down or anything. Shaq was an animal during his prime, but that's the thing, during his prime. Shaq before his peak with the Magic got swept in the NBA Finals by the Olajuwon, and then got swept by Michael Jordan. Not to mention his losses against Malone and Robinson. After his peak with the Lakers, his numbers took a sharp decline, where he was eventually too slow and unplayable, moving towards a faster-paced brand of basketball. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Shaq's running mate Kobe Bryant, all still elite in their own nature. You can't say the same about music. To be the GOAT, you have to be dominant for an extended period of time. 1 3-peat isn't good enough.
Looks about to give up on sex life until this. Meet Sex RN plus testosterone support by Hims, a new 2-in-1 pill made with the same active ingredient as Cialis for stronger erections plus zinc for optimized testosterone. The free assessment is 100% online. If prescribed, you even get free discreet shipping. Click the link to get started and improve your sex life.
Oh, there's no shame in losing to me. It's snack time!
Select the QuickBooks mobile app. Simply snap photos of receipts. Tap and sort transactions automatically. Categorize business and personal transactions with a swipe. Take care of business.
Get it now? The limitless power of a Martian!
Steph Curry has pioneered and dominated the game like none other. To this day, he's still one of the most feared players in the league that gets picked up for half-court without fail. You know you're good when people argue that you dominated the 2010s more than LeBron did. However, Curry might be the worst defender everyone mentioned on this video. Curry faces similar issues. It's going up to par with some of the GOATs. 2 MVPs is a bit low to be entertained in this debate, and his own Finals MVP in 2022 eats away at his legacy. Steph Curry also won the majority of his championships with unbelievably stacked teams that go to an NBA history as the best ever. The 1 year where Cleveland was fully healthy and Golden State didn't have Durant yet, Steph and Golden State crumbled. You can't boast 1 Finals MVP while winning championships with super teams and call yourself the GOAT.
Excellent! Then our latest plan is already in motion.
Me too! Let's eat!
The stats, awards, and championships were never a thing. You take the argument for KD being the GOAT. Purely based off the eye test, KD is a 7-footer that moves like he's 6 feet with a tight handle, killer jump shot, and great passing, while being a pretty scary defender. If you were to make a basketball player in a lab, it would probably come out looking a lot like KD. But unfortunately for the Slim Reapers, stats, ranks, and awards do exist, and they matter a lot. It's not all just about getting buckets. Kevin Durant has even accomplished level 1 of the GOAT debate.
Well,
Lead your own team to a championship. Everyone else in this video, plus others that got left off like Giannis, Dirk, D-Wade, Kawhi, and even SGA, have all led their own team to a championship. While KD does have both the Finals MVPs in Golden State, he joined a team that was already 73-9, won before him, they won after him, and they were probably going to win without him. You can't call yourself the GOAT if you can't even lead your own team to a championship. If you were ranking pure skill, footwork, touch, defense, and post moves, Hakeem might be your number 1. He's one of the most aesthetically pleasing players to ever touch a basketball. The Dream had an unreal stretch in 1994 and 1995 when he won back-to-back championships and became the only player ever to win the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP all in one season. But there's one major elephant in the room.
Still don't realize
2 years Michael Jordan retired. Hakeem took advantage of a power back. Outside of those 2 years, no titles, and only one other finals run in 1986 with Rouse Sales. In fact, he missed the playoffs or went out in the first round 10 times in his career. Couple this lack of playoff longevity with a pretty deep resume compared to the other GOATs. He was an all-time great talent, but the resume just isn't up to par. If you want to be the GOAT, you need an entire career of terror, not just a moment of magic.
I think it's fine, everybody.
Now, some of you guys might be surprised that Jokic is even mentioned in this video, but don't doubt the Serbian Diesel. Nikola Jokic has had a 5-year peak statistically that rivals the greatest of the greats, like Jordan and LeBron. His peak regular and advanced stats mirror that of the GOAT, but I think it's too early for the Joker. Nikola Jokic only has 1 championship, where 3 of the 4 teams he beat in the playoffs were in the play-in tournament, and the other just made a blockbuster trade 3 months before the playoffs, completely throwing off their chemistry. You can't lose to a 22-year-old rising star and a guy you were supposedly better than on the biggest stage of basketball. His 3 MVPs are already a phenomenal start. He still needs to build out the rest of his resume. In addition, the unreal numbers he puts up hides the fact that Jokic has been a defensive liability throughout most of his career and average at best. To be the GOAT, you need more than a single championship run littered with play-in teams. If you were new to basketball and you went to Wilt Chamberlain's basketball reference page, you might just fall for the sexy stats and point averages. I mean, who else could average 50 while playing 48.5 minutes a game and never miss a bite? GOAT stuff, am I right? Wilt Chamberlain is widely known as the GOAT for something else, though. Stat padding. The Big Dipper routinely cared more about how his stats looked compared to actually winning ball games. Bill Russell, Wilt's biggest competitor during his career, said, "Will is concerned with how many points he gets, and I'm concerned with how many rings I get." Almost other 60s legends said very similar things about Wilt's stat padding back to Wilt. During the early 60s, we think that Wilt Chamberlain putting up 30, 40, 50 points a night would lead to winning, right? Think again. Chamberlain's Warriors and 76ers in the early to mid-60s would routinely finish with mediocre records and fall short in the playoffs. While many NBA legends rise in the postseason, Chamberlain's numbers routinely took a dip during the playoffs like clockwork. Wilt lost 7 of 8 playoff series that he had against Bill Russell and the Celtics. When it mattered most, Wilt showed it up with a rating. If you want to be the GOAT, your will to win and dominance of your own era cannot be put into question.
Robinhood's new desktop trading platform is changing the game on how you can trade equities, options, and more, all from within your charts. Let me show you how I've set up my trading layout. First thing to know, you can build from scratch and start with a template designed to fit how you trade. Legend has powerful charting capabilities and allows traders to analyze market trends in greater depth. With technical indicators and drawing tools, finding patterns and opportunities has never been easier on Robinhood. Plus, Legend provides real-time data updated at sub-second.
Wonder if there's anybody strong around here.
Online platform, simplifying portfolio.
You know you're pretty good at basketball and should be put into the GOAT debate when you have more rings than you have fingers and routinely make the man who wrote record books in your era look like a little girl in the playoffs. But let's not get it twisted though. Those 11 championships in the 50s and 60s are not the same as winning them today. In Russell's era, there's only 8 14 teams in the league, with only 3 or even 2 total playoff rounds. I mean, even I couldn't snag the ring in Russell's era. They were arguably the best defender the game has ever seen, but his offensive production is laughably bad compared to the other GOATs. Russell in his career averaged 15.1 points on 44% efficiency. This alone might disqualify him from the GOAT debate, but even worse, Bill Russell has never been the lead scorer of his own team. Routinely, throughout the 13 years Bill Russell was in the NBA, he was never the top scorer on his team, and some years he wasn't even top 2 or 3. As a matter of fact, many of the years he was even the 4th or even the 5th highest scorer on his team. Let's keep it 100. Getting buckets is the most important part of basketball. Your offensive game and level of competition can't be put into question if you want to be called the GOAT. Tim Duncan, throughout the 2000s and 2010s, quietly played one of the greatest careers of all time. The big fundamental is the only player in league history to win a championship in 3 separate decades. He has the most all-defensive team selections in NBA history, and has a basketball resume that goes toe-to-toe with the GOATs. One of the most consistent players the game has ever seen. But let's be real, to be the GOAT, you need to be more than just consistent, you need to be amazing. Tim Duncan has a career average of 19 points a game, while averaging 25.5 points a game in his best season. When taking a look at the GOAT's true shooting percentage and efficiency stat that accounts for free throws taken and three-pointers being worth more and more difficult to make, Duncan, despite being a big man, falls near the bottom of this stat, even against perimeter players taking farther shots than average. Tim could never take over a game offensively the way Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, or several other of the GOATs could. Duncan is known as a defensive guy, but was never able to achieve the highest defensive honor in the sport. Of course, that being the Defensive Player of the Year, an issue some of the other GOATs can't relate to. The big fundamental always had help around him throughout his career, with Popovich as his coach for his entire time in the league, David Robinson, who was in his prime in the 90s, Tony Parker managed Ginobili in the 2000s, Kawhi Leonard in the 2010s, and a constant first organization the entire time, a luxury that many of the other legends can't boast. If you want to be the GOAT, you can't just be solid for 20 years. You need to be amazing and a pure killer. You know you belong in the GOAT debate when you had a 42-point, 15-rebound NBA Finals closeout game while playing center when you're a point guard in your rookie season. The Showtime Lakers with Magic Johnson never dipped below 54 wins and were in the NBA Finals 9 of 12 years. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Magic Johnson stood at 6'9", 215 pounds, but routinely got cooked by smaller and shiftier guards. He was known as the defensive magnate who never made an all-defensive his entire career, something the other GOATs can't say about themselves. Magic Johnson, from the day he was drafted to the day he called it quits, always had all-star health and all-NBA talent around him. Johnson never played a season without another all-star in his roster, and he won 5 championships with multiple all-stars on the team, a luxury that the other GOATs never had. As soon as the Magic was Showtime, faded away in the late 80s and early 90s, and Magic Johnson was in his prime, struggled with. Similar to Bill Russell, Magic Johnson's scoring abilities also aren't at GOAT level. On a super team, you can't get buckets at will. shooters and three-way scorers the league has ever seen. He was a rookie in 1980 and won a championship by year 2 in 81, while actually the best player on the team. Sorry, Magic, but it's tough to call yourself the GOAT when you weren't even the best player in your own era. When taking a look at the two players' stats head-to-head, I would argue that Magic Johnson has a slight advantage here, but Johnson wipes the floor with the fans of time at his peak about 7 to 8 years. It's too short for most fans and critics to really have him in this space, and broke down before your early 30s.
It's official. Silver and Blood just dropped, and this bout to grow is straight up fire. We're talking vampires, holy wars, and cursed alchemists. In this game, you're playing the brutal war between the Silver Cross and Moon Children. This world is dark, the art is gorgeous, and on top of that, they're handing out 160 free pools and SSR heroes, and you start off strong. If you're into dark fantasy, deadly weapons, and strategy with a sinister edge, Tactics work for free right now.
This is the hottest tan of the summer. I wear it every day, and let me tell you why. I wear it in the gym, in the shower, and especially when I'm out there sun. And the sun is always on the sun. And to top it off, it comes with free engraving. There is a reason why Jackson has over 50,000